it is ridiculous to me, infuriating, that my Republican colleagues who continue to obstruct oversight every chance they can don't seem to agree. They seem to think that who got them elected, who they serve, who the only person that matters, not the 730,000 constituents they have, is Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, and Elon Musk, as long as he and Donald Trump are getting along and paying for elections. Congress's power is critical in this moment. And Congressman Johnson, you said it so beautifully. We have to do everything in our power to ensure that our constituents know who we're here for. Otherwise, we can't be the people's house. Congress's powers are established to be a check on an out-of-control, lawless executive branch like the Trump administration. For instance, when the executive branch decides to use a notorious offshore prison with a history of gross human rights violations as their staging location for mass deportations without due process and in violation of international law, I thought that would be an ideal time for Congress to conduct oversight. It's why I requested that the Committee on Homeland Security, that some of us here serve on, would conduct an official oversight visit to CECOT. I was of the opinion that a congressional delegation needed to urgently go to CECOT in El Salvador and check on the health and well-being of all the political prisoners who we have sent to that heinous place. My Republican colleagues disagreed. And Chairman Mark Green said that my official request to conduct oversight in my capacity as a member of the Committee on Homeland Security's Subcommittee on Oversight, Investigations, and Accountability was, quote, to virtual signal to my radical base. Well, at least he responded to that one, because when I asked them to conduct oversight of Guantanamo, after the first flights to Guantanamo separated undocumented immigrants from the protections of our Constitution and their due process, and even amidst the reports that the U.S. was spending more than $40 million of your taxpayer dollars on holding migrants in Guantanamo, in that case, I was just ignored. But I didn't expect much more. Republicans in Congress have repeatedly given up their power. I don't know why. Like, you got elected by the people to represent the people, but they're just rolling out the red carpet for Trump's authoritarian regime. Republicans in Congress have allowed Trump to literally walk all over them. They're enabling a massive expansion in presidential power and completely surrendering the power and authority of Congress. Well, if you don't want to actually assert your authority as a co-equal branch, then why are you here? Because in allowing the administration to rescind funds, freeze funds, cancel grants, and contracts that were duly appropriated by Congress, Republicans have given Trump the power of the purse. But the power of the purse is Congress's power. It's our job. It is what we were sent to administer for the people. They've abandoned a critical check and balance. Republicans have become the enablers of Trump's authoritarian power grab. And you don't have to look farther than the Speaker of the House. He was quoted yesterday saying, many respected constitutional experts argue that the War Powers Act is itself unconstitutional. And I'm persuaded by that argument that they think it's a violation of the Article 2 powers of the Commander-in-Chief. I think that's right. That is the leader of Congress saying that Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, which gives Congress the constitutional authority to declare war, is a violation of Article 2 powers of the President. That tells you all you need to know. Mike Johnson is more loyal to the President than he is to the separation of powers. He is more loyal to the administration's authoritarian agenda than he is to the Constitution. And he's certainly more loyal to this president than his constituents who depend on Medicaid and Social Security for their daily life needs. But we will remind them that Congress has a job to do and that we will not concede the power of the people. And so I ask my colleagues again, why did you come here? You made a lot of campaign promises. Perhaps while you were campaigning, you actually listened to some people. And perhaps what you heard from people was, we are tired of a government that doesn't deliver to the people. Make my life better, not worse. And yet somehow we are waiting for a Senate bill, this big, ugly bill, as if it could get any uglier, that would actually slash more resources from the very same people that sent us here instead of making their life better. Look, we have to ask ourselves in this moment, what role are we playing? And who are we here for? Did we take an oath to protect the Constitution of the United States of America or not? Is our loyalty to the values of this country and the people that send us here, I hope not super PACs, but people, constituents, or is it doing whatever Donald Trump tells you to do? To the constituents who are worried about their Medicaid, to the constituents who are worried about their neighbors, to the constituents that are asking themselves, how can the president say one thing and do the other? How could he talk about peace and go start a war? How can he say that he's a Christian and hate his neighbors? I want you to know that not all members of Congress here are the same. Some of us have the courage and the ability and the willingness to defend our communities regardless of their legal status, regardless of who they love, regardless of their financial status. And we believe in due process. We believe in the rule of law and the Constitution. And I think that some of my colleagues on the other side took an oath saying that they believed in it too. We believe in our democracy and checks and balances and accountability. We believe that undermining our laws and processes make all of us less safe. We continue to demand that this administration allow us to exercise our right to oversight in all of its forms. And I ask my colleagues as I wrap up the question that I asked before. Why did you come here? Why are you here? Why do you leave your family every Monday or Tuesday to get on a flight and be here for 4 to 5 days? What will your legacy be? What will your grandchildren say about what you did in this place? Because I know what Mother Cabrini did in a time where Italians were treated as less than human. She stood up for them. She made it possible so that your grandparents and your great-grandparents could be able to give your parents and your families the life that they deserve so that you can serve here in Congress with me. So what will your legacy be? If you're wondering why constituents don't believe in government, it's because we say one thing and then harm them. I believe that this is a moment where we can choose to be love, to choose compassion, to choose unity over hate, over darkness, or over using Truth Social to demean and degrade other people because we don't agree with them. And I want to say to you that as long as members of Congress like Congressman Johnson, Takano, Watson Coleman, Carter, and I are here, we continue to demand that this administration honor due process, that we continue to do congressional oversight, especially in ICE facilities and detention centers, that we ensure that people being held there are treated humanly with dignity and respect. And we are not alone. The American people will continue to protest for their rights. The American people will continue to show up. The American people will continue to demand more of us, not less of us. They will continue to demand that we protect and expand democracy, not suppress voters. And we say and continue to say that it is our responsibility for such a time as this to be reminded why we decided to come to the People's House and who we represent and who we serve. Because I do not represent or serve at the pleasure of Donald Trump. I serve and represent 730,000 people in the Chicago area, and I will fight for them every single day and the democracy that we all took an oath to protect and serve. With that, Mr. Speaker, I yield back.
Members are reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities toward the president.